Cody, it's great to have you. So, from this point of view, people who would say are folks leaving Manhattan for South Florida, your answer is yes, but also Manhattan's still doing great.
Yeah, exactly. I think at our level, people have optionality. So they see Florida as a smart investment, a great place. I think, understand its lifestyle fits better than ever. It's not like their need to offload New York to take a dip into Florida's real estate market.
So tell me what is driving these trends. In past years, we would have been talking about the influx of foreign buyers in Latin America and Russia and all these different cohorts. Is this now U.S. demand, global demand? Where's it coming from?
To be honest, it's intra-market. So most of the people who are Florida excluded, but there's a lot of people who are laterally trading and trading up in Florida. But in Manhattan, you see 7 out of the 10 buyers on the super high end are already in Manhattan. They already own real estate in Manhattan. Same thing goes for Hampton's real estate. And I think Aspen has that same dynamic. A lot of the people who are deeply invested in those communities, they understand it. They're closest to the deals. They appreciate the lifestyle elements, and so they view the market as opportunistic. They take advantage of it.
So broadly speaking, Cody, I come to you, I say, okay, we've got the Hamptons, Manhattan, and Florida to pick kind of your 3 best markets. You tell me what's going on with real estate trends there. Super hot, or, which one of them is the hottest or cooling down? I mean, are you seeing any signs of cooling down, broadly speaking?
I think there's a lot of demand in the marketplace. I think that feverish pace that we saw in 2020, like I got to get it home, I got to get out of the city. The COVID push, to me, is somewhat over. I do think it's going to take time to fulfill the demand that's in all those markets that you mentioned. I think it's going to be elongated. I think money is still cheap. I think the biggest concern I have across all markets, and a lot of people have echoed the sentiment, it's factual. The supply is pretty meager. Quality supply is meager. And I think the biggest threat to the boom that we're seeing is sellers' expectations. So are we embracing new levels of highs, or are we on the precipice of a different market? The time will come.
It's funny you say that, because we've heard the same thing from other realtors we've spoken to across the country that they say our sellers are just not willing to cut prices yet. They've seen what these properties are going for. They see the increases and they're really holding out for that price. Do you think that strategy is going to work? And I'm curious if you're also seeing demand coming to some extent as an investment demand, real estate as an inflation hedge, that kind of thing.
Yeah, good questions. I think not all markets are created equal, but what we've seen is a trend across all those markets is there's been a lot of liquidity, new liquidity, existing liquidity, but it's been actualized in these markets, and the best buyers are going for the best properties. So, we just are closing on $100+ million deal in the Hamptons. We did $50 million deal in the city. So I think trophy properties are more in vogue than ever before. A decade ago, you heard $100 million deal, your head would explode. Now they're happening all over the country at sort of a crazy curve. So I think buyers want the best now, and they're seeking the best. So we're hoping that more apex properties come to market because there's definitely an increased demand for that. So I generally think that we are on the edge of sort of unknown territory as it relates to super luxury and how consumers are going to be acting with these types of assets in the future.
Yeah. Quick question, Cody. I'm just curious, since you have such a sort of front lines window into all of this. We've seen these huge residential towers going up in Manhattan. It's obviously not dead. There's plenty of people buying, like you're describing. Even as return to work is not happening, it's being delayed. People's offices are moving elsewhere. Is Manhattan going to turn into like a bedroom community?
I don't think so. I think you have people who are diehard Manhattan. Like that's where their lives are. That's where their kids are. During the pandemic, we looked for arbitrage. We had a lot of people who are very smart and sophisticated investors and also end users who said, now's the time. It's a good time to pounce on the market and go after condos and go after townhomes. And literally, we couldn't find it. I think a lot of people who have roots in Manhattan and who are deep believers and just beyond sort of the economics of that market, there's no place like it in the planet. So we're super bullish on Manhattan. I think there's still opportunity there. I think there's no place like home for a lot of people.